Hey, what's going on guys, welcome to this video. In it I'm going to be going through the basics of Telos, what we know so far. This is only phase 1 to phase 4. At 100% in rage you will get to phase 5, but by that time you will know everything in this guide, because it's just going to be a basic one on the basic attacks and how to get your first couple of kills. So real quick, let's get into it. The gear setups I would recommend is melee with as noxious size. If you do have it, it's probably the best setup to use right now because of phase 4, but we'll go through that later. And then mage is not as good as melee because it doesn't have as many multi-target abilities, but it's still good. And I think range isn't the best, it's the worst out of the 3 combat styles, but it's still really easy to get range kills, as I've been doing for a couple of hours. And some really nice abilities to have are Onslaught and Storm Shards. They are both Mazcab raid abilities, and currently if you don't have them it costs around 21 mil to get the codex, but I'd recommend getting it as soon as possible because it's going up quite a bit in price. And also you'll most likely need a shield. You can go without a shield, but it just makes it a lot harder and a lot more painful for no reason. Okay, so starting off, you go in, and Telos won't attack you until you run near him. Obviously, he'll say you made a grave mistake or something like that. And then he'll do a couple of auto attacks, and he has 3 special attacks that he will use throughout the fight. One of them he will only use throughout phase 1 and 2, but the other 2 he will use throughout the rest of the fight, so you got to be careful of those. Now, the first one that he uses on the first phase is the Vine Grip kind of thing. Right here, what he does is he grips you and he does damage and heals himself. Basically, when you're on 0 in rage, you gotta deal 3000 damage to get out. Simple as that, there's nothing else you gotta do. And then the second one is the Gillen Give Me Strength. To dodge this one, you just put on a shield and resonance. You won't heal anything, but it will negate all the damage, so that's pretty nice. And the third one is a big one. It's a stomp one. He says hold still invader, and he stuns you. As soon as that happens, you want to make sure you spam freedom and run away. Now, once you get these 3 special attacks down, that's basically all the special attacks that he uses in the first phase. He also uses them throughout the rest of the kill, so I definitely recommend getting to know them. Don't just remember what order they come in on the first phase, because in the rest of the phases you got to be able to dodge them, especially on phase 4 when loads of stuff is happening. You got to be able to dodge them, so just know what he's doing. So when he leans back and does that Gillen Give Me Strength, you got a resonance. When he says hold still, get ready to freedom. Don't freedom too early from the hold still. Freedom when he stunned you and then run away. And for the vines one, you just gotta carry on DPSing. I would save a threshold until he does that vines on phase 1 and 2, and then use that threshold to get out as soon as possible. Now, you hopefully will have noticed one of the most interesting mechanics that comes with Telos, and this is throughout phase 1, 2 and 3. As you can see on screen, there's a beam here. Now, the beam does change throughout the phases, but one thing is common for each phase. No matter what, you don't want the beam to be hitting Telos, because above his head you can see a small adrenaline bar. It charges that up, and that gives him a next level special attack that can absolutely KO you. It hits like over 5k in phase 1. In phase 2 it gives you massive mage damage. So no matter what, whatever phase you're on, if there's a beam, you want to make sure it's not hitting Telos. You don't have to be in the beam, but just make sure Telos isn't in it, because it will charge his special attack. Now, for each phase 1 to 3 there's a different beam with a different effect. On phase 1, I'd always recommend standing in the beam, because it means that you gain adrenaline a lot faster. It gives you like almost instant 100% adrenaline, but it drains your prayer a lot faster. Prayer drain, you don't really notice it too much, so I'd recommend standing in it, doing like a death swiftness or something, standing in the beam, getting off all your thresholds. That's really nice. In phase 2, it's a black beam that halves your damage done, but also halves the damage that you take. So you'll basically be doing half DPS, and Telos will be doing half DPS on you. So it does make you a bit slower, but it might save some food. That depends on how your DPS goes. Some people say that there's no point because it saves you food, but it also makes it go 50% slower, so it just cancels out. But the one thing is, on phase 2, if you don't stand in the beam, the black beam, so over time you will get this bleed, a bit like Nex's bleed when she melee distances you on shadow phase. It's not as damaging as that, but it is pretty damaging. And if you want to get rid of that bleed, you just stand in the beam for a couple of seconds and then go back out, and you can carry on DPSing, and the bleed will come back maybe like 30 seconds later. So it's not too big of a deal, but if you do want to deal with the bleed, then just stand in the beam and then stand back out if you want to do max DPS. But if you're worried about food, definitely just stand in the black beam throughout all of phase 2, and he still does all the special attacks. Now on phase 3 is where it gets a bit crazy. There's loads of other mechanics, but phase 3 there's a red beam, and that basically means you do double DPS, which is mad DPS, especially if you've got berserk or something like onslaught. But it also means that you are done double damage too. So Telos does double damage on you while you're standing in that red beam. Now phase 3 is very crucial. You definitely want to block the beam from hitting Telos, but that's the same for phase 1, 2 and 3. So what you're going to take away from this is the 3 different beams have 3 different special attacks or abilities kind of things, and you want to make sure they are never hitting Telos, otherwise you're going to get one banged. Now you do have to be slightly careful because these beams do move around and they do tend to try and get into Telos as much as possible. Wink wink, nudge nudge. But yeah, definitely do be careful of these beams and try and keep Telos in the middle because he is a bitch to maneuver around the sides. Just a couple of hints. So getting back into it, once you've done phase 1 and 2, which are the same mechanics, just different beams, you will end up in phase 3. Now you'll notice this bar in the top. Now this is something that you need to keep balanced. It will move to the right and it will move to the left depending on what you do. Now it will move to the right if Telos is in the red beam, and if all of his minions are up, they slowly move it towards the right, and it'll move towards the left if the minions are dying, or if the minions are dead and they're not charging him and Telos is not in the red beam. Now when it goes all the way to the left, Telos will drain your adrenaline and your prayer, which is quite alright. You can deal with that perfectly. So I'd recommend trying to keep it to the left, which means whenever the minions are there, if you're struggling, kill them as much as you can and keep Telos out of the red beam at all costs while DPSing him. And if it moves too much to the right, then you're basically screwed, because Telos has this special attack where he like sends out shockwave bombs kind of things, which deal 3000 typeless damage that can't be blocked with anything. You probably could barricade it, but it's just a lot of effort, and it does it 2 or 3 times, so it can, at high enrages, it will definitely KO you. It's one of the biggest pains of killing Telos is this phase, because of trying to keep that thing level. So I just recommend standing in the red beam wherever possible, doing max DPS. Onslaught is really nice to get this phase over and done with before Telos's green bar thing moves too much. Standing in the red beam obviously gives you double damage. Here you can see that crazy spec, it just murks you. All this is happening while he still does his special attacks. So you got to be careful of those while still DPSing Telos as much as you can. So I just recommend standing in the red beam at all times. When all 3 minions are up, killing them as much as you can while focusing on DPSing Telos, and that should get you through the phase smoothly enough. If you're struggling with him doing the bomb attack constantly, just kill the minions as much as you can and carry on DPSing. That's all the help I can give you. Now phase 4 is the one that is a bit of a fuck show. Now once you've jumped down, all you want to do is stand by that green orb thing and carry on killing Telos. He will do his special attacks except for the grip. Obviously he only does that on phase 1 and 2. Just DPS Telos down until he is down to 75% of his current life points that he had when he dropped down, and when that happens he will spawn 3 golem things. Now there will be 1 green one, 1 red one and 1 black one. Now while these things are spawned, Telos will be invulnerable and you won't be able to damage him, as you can see on screen. While the minions are out, you want to stand on the green orb thing and kill all of them as soon as possible. I definitely recommend using multi-target abilities. Now the thing will charge, and when it's done, Telos will obviously fire that bomb at you. The thing charges by taking some of your life points, and when it's fully charged, if you stand within the area, then you won't get hit by that insta-kill bomb that he throws. If it doesn't charge fully because you're too far away, or you move out of it while he's throwing his bomb, you will get insta-killed. So just stand in the green one until he fires his bomb and it says you've successfully avoided it. Kill the minions while that's happening, and then move to the northeast to the red one. Rinse and repeat, basically. Just keep damaging Telos until he spawns the next 3 golems on this one. Stand under it. It will damage you for 1k every couple of ticks, but that's just to charge it up, so you just make sure you eat up while the minions are up. Try and kill the minions, do all that kind of good stuff. I'd recommend praying melee because they do use melee, and anticipating because they do sometimes stun. Just kill them with multi-target abilities and make sure you're standing in that green circle that spawns around it when the bomb comes at you, otherwise you will get obviously insta-killed. If you haven't killed the minions while Telos is attacking you, I'd recommend just getting through them And when you've done the second one, Telos will have a full adrenaline bar and he will use his special attack, which has so much power. So when you've done the northeastern red orb, he will fire something that will hit you for 5.5k. So definitely safe up once you've done that. And then you finally want to move to the south one. Do the exact same thing here. DPS Telos until he spawns the 3 minions. Kill the 3 minions while standing under the black orb. And then once that's done, just DPS Telos down and you'll have the kill done. Now you do have to do it in this order. You have to go north first, which is the green one, the one that's near to you when you spawn on this phase, and then you go to the northeast one, which is the red one, and then kill the minions there, survive the bomb, and then go to the southern one, kill the minions, survive the bomb, and then kill Telos. And that's everything done. I do apologize if I talked a bit quick, that's just how I speak. But if you do have any questions, definitely put them down in the comments. What I'm going to do right now is just show you a kill, a full kill with no commentary. So you guys can see how everything is put into action throughout the kill, and if you guys want to see that. But other than that, I hope you enjoy, hope you found this useful. Any questions, put them down in the comments. Peace out. Oh, how stupid of me, I forgot to explain Telos's mechanics, the drop mechanics that is. So once you kill Telos, you will run over to the beam and you can roll a drop. As you can see, it says kill streak. So you stop spinning and then it will give you one of the drops, and then you click continue. It will show you the value of that drop and show you how much you can have. Now on the left, you can cash out and take that drop and then go and kill Telos again. But on the right, if you want to build up in rage, build up a kill streak and get better drops, then you click continue challenge. Now do be warned that if you do continue the challenge and you fail the next kill, you won't have that in rage saved and you will lose all your drops. So if you're on a 5 kill streak and you continue but you die on the 6th one, you will lose all your loot. So that's just something for you to know. If you're willing to risk it, if you think you can carry on, I would definitely recommend stacking up to at least 5 kills, claiming the loot, if you can go up the high-end rages. Because in the high-end rages, you also get a better chance of the weapon drops, and you get better drops overall. So I definitely recommend continuing if you are confident enough, if you ended the phase, ended the kill with enough food. But if you didn't, then just cash out every 2 or 3 kills. I'd only recommend cashing out every kill if you're like really unconfident and you just wanted to get 1 kill. But that's how the drop mechanic works.